Hello, today I'm going to show you how to make a home remedy to Fusarium using very simple ingredients and the fungus Trichoderma. My name is Dr. Joshua Humphreys, and with me today is...
Mi nombre es Russel Navarro, soy un productor pequeño de caña, además trabajamos con BSI ASR.
My role with ASR is the Corporate Regenerative Agriculture Manager. What that means is that I go to farms and I figure out ways to make the biology in the soil and the plants all work together to produce the best sugarcane possible. With today's experiment, we are going to be making Trichoderma. Trichoderma is a special fungus that binds and protects the sugarcane root and the rest of the plant so that the Fusarium cannot get in and infect the sugarcane and create devastation in the industry. The first thing that we need to worry about and to think about is safety. So if any of you are immunocompromised, have pneumonia, or any other ailments, let's say like pneumonia or respiratory issues, I would prefer that you do not do this method because it can cause some irritation, coughing, and some other undesirable effects. So with Russel today, we are going to get him all set up to create his own Trichoderma. The first thing is gloves. You can put these on, sir. The gloves are going to help protect our hands from just some of the other matter that might get on it, such as rice or molasses. Also, it protects the Trichoderma from anything that we might have on our palms or on our fingers, because we don't want contamination in our Trichoderma inoculant. Next, a mask. These are similar masks that you might have used during COVID. You can get them at the grocery store. And if you are inside and producing this, you should wear a mask. Lastly, we need some form of disinfectant. I have here alcohol, which could be in the form of vodka, or it could be isopropyl alcohol. It's up to you. But this helps kill off any pathogens or other diseases that might be on the table, on the tools we use, or maybe on our hands. Can I have your hands, Russell? Here we go. Just rub those together. This way, we have a good clean area and a fine surface to work from. But just for this video, I'm going to take my mask off, but Russel's going to keep his on so that I can speak a little clearly and my glasses don't fog up. We're going to take our paper towels and wipe down the table. Wipe down your spoons or any other instruments that you might have. And this way, we maintain cleanliness throughout. Now that we have a clean space, we can finally begin our inoculation. So the first step that I'm going to teach you today is the boiled rice method. Russel here is going to make it from start to finish. First, we're going to use 4 cups of white rice. We don't want to use brown rice because the hull messes up the Trichoderma, but we want to use white rice. After we do 4 cups of rice, Russel is then going to add in about a cup of water. Now, anybody that's made rice knows that will not make good rice. That will actually make poor rice that's hard on the inside. But that is perfect for what our needs are for the Trichoderma. So this is what the rice should look like. Have a little bit of water at the bottom, but for the most part, dry. Once he puts in the water, we'll apply the heat to create steam, and the steam will sterilize the rice so that it can be a fresh slate for the Trichoderma. We'll boil it for maybe 5 minutes, pull it off the heat, and let it sit. And then our rice is set to go. So after you boil your rice for your 5 minutes, let it cool, then you're ready to go and put it inside of the Ziploc bag. So Russel, can you put the majority of the rice inside of the Ziploc bag using our clean spoon? The reason why we want to use a spoon that's been cleaned is so that we're trying to keep everything as sterile as possible. So the rice is sterile, the spoon is sterile, the inside of the bag is sterile. Next, we will add in the Trichoderma. This is a commercially bought strain that is available here in Belize. We will use about 10 mLs, 10 milliliters, or roughly about half a capful. Okay, then close it up and work it around. We're working it around so that the Trichoderma can get evenly distributed in the rice. And once you're done working it, your bag is finished. We want to leave a little bit of air inside of the bag so that the fungus has some breathing space. Beautiful job. Excellent. Should look just like this. So the next part would be to poke some holes. So if you do not have a lot of oxygen in here, or if the bag is deflated just a little bit, you can poke 3 or 4 holes so that the bag can breathe. This particular bag has the ability for breathability. And so that means the air can flow through it a little easier. So we don't have to poke holes in this particular one. This now goes into a dark place for the next 7 days. Trichoderma does not like light. Light harms it. So this needs to be a dark room temperature spot. So maybe pick a cabinet or, on top of the refrigerator if it's dark there. All right, so this is a freshly prepared sample. Now, here I have a sample that I prepared about 1 month ago for comparison. You see the darker color, the drier grains. Now, what we'll be looking for in about 7 days is a greenish yellow tint or even white specks throughout. It may also have a little red or pink tinge to it, and that's okay. That means it's alive and well. That's going to be the Trichoderma growing all over the rice, forming colonies, which is exactly what we want it to do. Now, if we see any dark black spots starting to form, that means there's contamination. We need to get in there with our spoon at some point and pull all of that black out because we don't want to contaminate our later batches. Once this is sitting for 7 to 10 days, then it's ready for use. We can either take it directly to the field or we can use this to create more bags. Russel, now do you see some of the color differences through here? I want you to feel both of them and also feel the texture differences and look for some of the nodules. Because you'll see there's been quite a bit of change that's happened over the last month. Yes, just like that piece right there. You see some of the colonies starting to form. What else are you feeling?
It's more drier.
Right. We want it to dry out like this so it's easier to apply in the field. So in the first method, we showed you the boiled rice method. This one, we're gonna cut out the step of boiling and just use dry rice. The way we're gonna do that, we're gonna take some dry rice and we're just gonna dump it into the bag. Excellent. Then we're going to add about half a cup of water. Excellent. And then about 10 milliliters of our solution. This method is quite a bit faster, and it's a way to make it more efficiently in the field. Now we'll compare it to the first method and our other bag. As you can see, it looks exactly like the boiled rice method, has roughly the same moisture content, and a very similar consistency. This bag you also will keep in the dark for 7 to 10 days, and it should still have the same yellowish green color to it with maybe a little bit of red. That's when you know it's ready to be applied to the field. Okay. The next method we have is a liquid method. It's using molasses and water to create a sprayable Trichoderma solution. So in our first two methods, we showed you boiled rice, dry rice. Now this is a third method. This method involves molasses. In this container, we have 1 part molasses and 10 parts water, all mixed up like so. This is one of the most perfect growing environments for Trichoderma.
I have one question. Is any type of molasses could be used, or have a specific type of molasses?
Well, any type of molasses could be used, but this is specifically molasses from BSI, okay? This is sugarcane molasses. So this has everything from sugars to phosphorus to sulfur and other ingredients that act as a growing medium. So the molasses used here is from BSI, and BSI is giving 55-gallon drums of molasses to each association to kickstart their Trichoderma production. But really great question. So you can use any type, but the BSI molasses is going to be the best. Just like with the first two methods, we're going to use 10 milliliters, or about half a cap, of our Trichoderma solution. Going to dump it in, and then shake vigorously. Now we're going to let this solution sit for about 7 days. We're going to check on it every other day and release any pressure that might build up. The pressure is built up from the fungus waking up and it's starting to consume the sugars and release carbon dioxide. So that's how we know it's active and it's working. In the end, we should see a white film across the top. That will tell us that it's ready to go. Now, if the white film has dropped to the bottom, that means that our solution has died and we need to start over.
One more question. Why is it that we only use 10 ml for our mixture? Can't we use more?
We use 10 ml for our mixture because it gives the right amount of sugars and other elements for growing. If we used any more, it might grow too fast and it might blow up the bottle, or it could cause some other problems, other pressure issues. So we want it to grow at a steady rate, not too fast, not too slow. Something else to note is that this is just for demonstration. You could make this solution in any amount. So let's say you had a 55-gallon barrel that you wanted to make the solution in. You would need 5 gallons of molasses to 50 gallons of water. So again, we're going 10 to 1. 10 to 1 is the magic ratio for the Trichoderma. As you go up in quantity of this, you're going to need to add more. But still, we're staying at 10 to 1. And so if we're going to 5 gallons, then we're going to use a 1/10 of that 5 gallons of our solution to fill that whole barrel, okay? This is important that you can make any size. You could do 1 gallon, you could do 100 milliliters, you could do 5 liters. Doesn't matter. It's still the same ratio every time, 10 to 1. Now this is just the concentrate, just like this is. This you would dilute down in water before you would spray on your field. We're doing the same thing here. So with this, after 7 days, we would dilute this 10 to 1 as well before we sprayed it on our field. So that will give us the correct application of Trichoderma to the field. So this 500 milliliters is going to give us 5 liters of sprayable solution for our field.
How long could I store this before I use it in the field?
Great question. If it goes through the 7 days and it's active, you can put it in the refrigerator and it'll stay good for about 2 weeks. Now, if it's left out, after about 12 to 14 days, the solution's going to die. And so you either need to remake the solution fresh, or you need to land apply it out in the field. Okay, so we've discussed 3 different ways to make our trichoderma: boiled rice, dry rice, and molasses. The next piece of this is application. How do we actually get it out into the field and get it where it needs to go? So we're going to have a little demonstration on how to do that. The first part we're going to do is pretend, here we go, that this is plant cane. Now plant cane is the best time to put this in the field. This gives the most contact to the sugar cane. It gets the trichoderma in the soil where we want it to go, and it will grow with the sugar cane. Now, since there's not really a recommended application amount for dry rice in a sugarcane field, I'm going to show you what you should be looking for as you apply it with some of our rice. So I'll get just a little bit. And the amount that we're looking for should be right about there. It would be a bit of a sprinkle. It would have good coverage across the cane. It would be within the furrow, not scattered everywhere across the soil. And as soon as we put it in, we want to cover it. So going ahead and cover it, because trichoderma does not like light. That's why we've kept it in the dark so long. We need to keep it in the soil now, as dark as possible. Light tends to destroy trichoderma, and it slows the growth of it. So let's keep it dark. Now, you may be asking, well, what about the molasses application for plant cane? So we'll take a step back. With our plant cane, our well-used plant cane there, it's still going to be the same drench. You see how we're getting good contact with the cane? We're covering it. We're making sure that it's wet. Now the application rate for the molasses is going to be 5 gallons per acre if we're just spraying the furrows. Okay? Now, let's say you don't have a furrow sprayer or direct application and you're just broadcasting it in a mist, we're going to go to 10 gallons per acre then. That way we're compensating but still getting the same amount of coverage.
You're saying we could also apply with a boom sprayer?
Yes, absolutely. Yes, this solution right here can go through your boom sprayer and go straight to the field. Now, a couple notes about this is that you do not want to mix it with anything. You don't want to mix it with fertilizer, any other pesticide or herbicide, and definitely not a fungicide. This needs to be applied by itself. I realize that that is an extra trip across the field, but the molasses in here can have some bad effects if it mixes with some of our other products. Now there's also ratooning. And ratoon cane is a little more delicate. So we want to apply either our rice or our spray within a week of cutting our cane. And we want to apply it directly to the stools. Pretend that's a ratoon mound. The application rate should look about like this for a ratoon. If you use rice to ratoon, you want to put it on just before you fertilize. The reason for that is that when you come through and fertilize, you will push the rice down into the cane with your disc. And that's going to give it the best contact possible.
And the quantity of rice per acre, you didn't...
The quantity of rice per acre is going to be however that looks. We're not quite sure. Everybody's got a little bit different rate by hand because we don't have an actual instrument to go and put the rice out there. It's going to just take the person by it. So, Russel, do you have any questions or do you have anything you think farmers would ask?
Farmers would be interested in knowing if what they applied is working on their field, if there is any control of the pest or the Fusarium that we are trying to target. How can we tell?
Okay. One way would be that once you start to see sprouting, dig down and look on the roots to see if you see any white fungal fuzz around the roots, because that's a good way to tell if the Trichoderma has made contact and is starting to wrap itself around the root system, which is what we want it to do.
How many times do we need to apply, to do applications?
Good question. So for plant cane, we're just going to apply it one time, just when we plant. That should be sufficient. For ratoon cane, we're going to try to do it twice. The first time is going to be within a week after we cut, so that we get good coverage on top of our cane so that it has the ability to work its way down into the stool. Then we want to apply it again at about 60 days. So if we missed any spots or maybe there was rain or something happened, we're still going to get a good coverage again across the entire field.
As farmers, we depend on the rain to wet the soil. No? I don't know if this Trichoderma is going to work 100% during the dry season, or does it need some sort of moisture to work properly?
So it does need some sort of moisture to work properly. You're going to get the best results in your plant cane because it's going to need moisture. It's going to need to be able to get through the softer soil. In the dry season, the soil's really hard, and so it's going to struggle to get out in there, and it's going to struggle to wrap around the cane roots. So that's another reason why we say 2 applications for ratooning, to make sure that we get enough Trichoderma in our field to really matter.
I know if we do it at planting, do I have to repeat applying during ratoon, or it's covered for how many years, or we need to keep applying yearly?
Okay. I would recommend that we apply it yearly until we see the Fusarium numbers get down as low as possible, or until we push it completely out of the cane area. As long as the Fusarium exists and is still causing problems, we still need to keep applying it. We need to keep it controlled. Trichoderma is not going to eradicate Fusarium. It's going to control it. It's going to push it back and make a barrier around the sugarcane so it can't get in, but it will always be there. It's not a fungicide, and that's probably something that I should bring up. If you're applying a fungicide, this is a fungus. You will kill the Trichoderma with a fungicide. But if you have to apply one, let's say your field is so far gone, apply your fungicide 14 days at least before you would try to apply the Trichoderma. That way it gives it time to get in and deactivate, kill off the bad fungus, and then our Trichoderma is going to be able to repopulate and have less competition. So, do you have any more questions, Russel?
Well, I have an observation. As a farmer, I think this will help us to control the Fusarium, not eradicate, as you said, but to maintain it at a certain level that it will not do us damage. I think as an extension officer also, I have the knowledge now to go out there and to tell the farmers and help them how to produce their own Trichoderma at home and to be more efficient in their fields. Because I think Fusarium being an industry problem, we need to tackle the disease or the pest before it starts to. So I think this could help throughout the industry, and it's more cheaper to depend on fungicides that keep the price of production of cane higher.
Correct. Yeah, absolutely. And it's an industry-wide problem, just as you said. And that's where we all have to do our part. Every association, every farmer, BSI, ASR. And part of this program is that we want to be here for you, the farmers. So if you have any questions or if you need anything, feel free to contact us at BSI or ASR. Feel free to reach out to your association heads and have them contact us. We all have to work together to control this problem for the entire north part of Belize. Because if we don't, it's just going to get worse and sugarcane is not going to happen. So in closing, thank you very much for coming along our journey with the production, the application, and our questions about Trichoderma and how it can fight Fusarium out in the fields.